Blessings. Amani 9 Google, which means peace and power. Family, welcome to the Temple of New African Thought. To those in the room and those online, we greet you in the words of Amani Na Nguvu, which again means peace and power, peace and strength, peace in all the things. Coming from Swahili. So today, we'll just get started. We're gonna have an open dialogue today. I think I said open talk with Dr. DAW, something like that. I'm trying to do my best queen rendition. You know, she comes up with these type of things. So, open talk with Dr. DAW. So I want to just have an open talk today because really that's what I kind of like. I like those open talks where we can express where we are, but also I felt a certain energy that I feel like there's a need to just have open talk. I don't know where it will go. But I just feel like it's the time and the place and the space to have an open talk. Because we've dealt with a lot. I can feel fatigue in the air, whether that be mental, physical, spiritual fatigue, whether that be social fatigue. I can feel fatigue in the air. So what better time to come and talk, release, build, support, affirm, all those type of things. And maybe challenge. So if there's anyone, Mama Fluke, I saw you. Are you open to open us up or with the libation? Oh, okay. And you did. I'm not gonna. Yeah, it's right there. The other day we got you on film. You came up there. And you opened us up with the libations without a mic. But what I wanted to say is. Your pants was they look nice. The leather pants, they were looking nice. When you walked across the floor, I was gonna sing the clip. You like you was on the runway. That's why she's still here. She don't know what she got herself in. Oh.
Center ourselves and just welcome this Sunday's afternoon and what we'll be able to talk about, share about, and grow from. But right now, we're going to acknowledge our ancestors through the process of libation. And first and foremost, we welcome our healed ancestors into this place to sup with us, to drop nuggets in our spirit and pushing us to where we're supposed to be. So I will first start with the ancestors that were perished in the middle passage. For all those that transitioned by way of violent acts throughout the Atlantic Ocean, in South America, Southern Caribbean, Northern Caribbean, Central America, and North America, we honor you today. Respond by saying Ashe.
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 For those who were on plantations and endured complete terrorism of the mind, the soul, and the body, but still were able to maintain a sense of African pride and dignity, we honor you today with our Ashe.
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 Ashe. Ashe.
For those who fought in the times of Jim Crow and still were able to succeed and establish businesses, schools, towns, we honor you today by saying Ashe.
Ashe. Ashe. Ashe.
For those who worked in the civil rights movement, some losing their lives, others with the memory of the trauma, but still working toward healing, we say Ashe to you. For those revolutionaries globally that fight first and foremost for the liberation of African people, as well as all oppressed people globally. For those who have lost their lives, we honor them today by saying Ashe.
Ashe.
Ashe, Ashe, Ashe-o.
Ashe. Ashe. Ashe-o.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mama Paluke. Ashe. Ashe. Put a little yeah. Testing 1, 2 family. Testing. All right. So thank you again for welcoming our ancestors in as we walk in their footsteps. Ashe. Does anyone have a rendering, a sharing in our edutainment portion of the fellowship, our Njia-Ma'at circle? Edutainment, or just some words to say, which is also a part of it. Testimony, updates, affirmations.
Yes.
That was known as entertainment.
I would like to do a drum call with my brother Parrish.
Ashe. Is there another? Anyone else? Anything to share? Whether that be words, song, dance, song, poem. I'm looking like people have something, but I'm not sure if that. I'm not reading the. Yeah, I'm not reading the nonverbals that well today.
Well, it's the autumn equinox, so we're shifting our energy. So we just acknowledge that time of change, of letting go what served us in days gone by, and ready to embrace the new things that the Creator has in store for us, and that we set goals and visions for. I just welcome the autumn equinox in. And I'm going to sing a little song. I really wasn't prepared to sing, but I'm going to do it anyway. It's a peaceful now, just after the rain is gone. Pretty flowers that grow in season, there must be a reason. Just after the rain, you may ask yourself, just what is it that makes the sun shine? Pretty flowers that grow in season, there must be a reason. Just after rain, realize blessings that now fill the earth from above, with a melody that's beyond words. Beyond words, it's so peaceful now. Just after the rain is gone, all the children come out to play. Just after rain.
All right, is there another, or shall we proceed? Give you what you need.
I would like to push for a round of affirmations, positive affirmations. I appreciate the mention of the equinox. And also, I think tonight is going to be a solar eclipse or something of that nature. The 21st? Today's the 21st? So it's tonight. I think it's supposed to be 6 minutes of darkness. For what it's worth, whatever that means to you. All right. I'm strong. I'm powerful. I'm persistent. I'm ready. I'm intelligent. I'm thoughtful. I live in abundance. I'm happy. I'm healed. And I'm black.
Ashe. All right. Open talk today, family. Let's talk. I put in the caption, what's going on? What's happening? What's good? What's popping?
What's up?
That's a real question. How y'all feeling?
We here.
Oh, you need a mic. No.
Oh, it's going to be loud enough between the two of us.
Okay. We're good. We'll just go back and forth with this mic here. me and brother Fern. Nah. So we here. Despite the change in weather and like Mama said, with the energy, I'm definitely feeling myself. I got a little bit of coffee, but it didn't stop me from coming. So
Okay. It's a little it's getting feedback. So
just a little. Is it a little better now?
well, no, what happened? Y'all probably be better just one person keeping this mic, another person grabbing. You just keep those around. It's the speaker.
Testing. Okay. That's my cup.
All right. So you say we here. You speaking for everybody. You say you had to get some. Y'all had to get coffee.
Oh, you got. Does that coffee or tea?
It's coffee.
Oh,
It's
I
coffee.
got my coffee right here.
I don't have many vices, but I do have this one.
He smiled like you were supposed to say tea, but no. Well, tea can be advice as well. Is it doing the work? But Mama Fluke, you got something. Or if you don't, it's fine too. I see you clenching your device. The oath. Okay. You wanted to do something with that?
Mama Fluke, there's a mic behind you.
Cat got my tongue.
Cat got your tongue? Oh, it's fine. It's totally fine. So,
but I do want to say, I think I have been saturated with all the things that have happened from the lynching down in Mississippi to what happened. What's that guy in Arizona? The CK that was assassinated. I don't even want to say his name. Utah. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm just overly saturated with this. I'm just trying to find a space to kind of clear from all of that and be more focused, especially on my studies, because I felt myself being kind of distracted from that. As much as I want to learn and to read, I was really distracted last week and wasn't able to, complete a lot of things that I knew I could have completed had I not been distracted. So I'm in the mode of just releasing all that, not even listening to anything. And if people start talking about it, I really don't want to hear it because I want to stay focused on the task at hand for me.
Thank you.
I can relate to that.
You can relate to that?
I can relate to that.
What do you mean by that?
Well, because of what happened, it's just been everywhere. It's been in your face.
Speak it up a little bit.
Because of what happened, it's been everywhere, the news about that person. So it's kind of just been forcing our faces, even from people that we are our coworkers. They know someone's going to bring it up to you. So it's kind of hard to block that out. We are constantly bombarded. And then if you go online, if you subscribe to certain channels and whatnot, you're going to see it. The algorithm is like there. So it's kind of hard to avoid if you are using platforms such as like YouTube, which I use often. So it is very distracting. And then new information comes out, and then what happened with the brother, and it's just like again, and it's just at a point, it's like, when is the next one going to be? When because it's just a cycle, a never ending cycle of this. So yeah, it's re-traumatizing the people, seeing things.
Yeah. So one of the things we do, and I'm gonna have the right do, is to go on a media fast. What we typically would do here at TNAT on the day after what has been reserved as Thanksgiving, and the day of what has been reserved as Black Friday. And typically what we do is we go from a media fast. It doesn't mean all media. It means you're intentional with your media. It means that you don't use media that will likely drop deposits of information that you can't control for the most part. So, like, for example, you can be more intentional about books that you choose to read, sites that you choose to that are safe. Like even social media, your own social media platform for the most part. You can put outgoing things, but not really get caught up on what people are depositing on your timeline and all those things. So really controlling what comes in, and what that has done for me, because I know how that can feel, and what has done for us. Trying, because there's always something, as Brother Parrish said, and we can get caught up in that. I was trying to go through I was trying to complete my master's degree, and all types of things was going on. And I can get infuriated by when I see how people being taken for advantage of. And so I had to find ways not to get caught up in that, be very intentional. And what I realized, the media fast, even to this day, it has created a culture, and a culture within me, and also those who have been a part of the African Village. I mean, TNAT Holistic Wellness Center at that point, of not really being bombarded by the media so much. Like me, I have to intentionally look at these things, because it's so easy for me not to. I remember Brother Los was sharing like how he tries to stay away from certain levels of media, and what he said to me was like he understands why people in leadership positions have to as well, though. And I do. So I intentionally look at these things, and I'm not really that overwhelmed by them, to be honest with you. Just to be honest with you, it can be overwhelming what overwhelms me is when our people are being got. And I want us to see, but it's very difficult for us to see what is truly going on and who truly means us well and who truly doesn't. But nonetheless, the war is going on for our minds. So that media fast will probably be very beneficial coming up in November, that we will partake in. And then typically in the spring, going into the summer, we do another media fast, more of a diet, but we'll figure out what that'll look like. It was a very strict diet that we would go on, and it's not always the best for everybody. So we were going like a raw fast, but I don't know. Go ahead, Brother Fur.
I was gonna say I could really appreciate that, not only for just taking in media, but also even outputting. I think for me personally, it would be good for my mental health to maybe delete a couple apps, or I mean, the world won't end if I turn the phone off for a week, or figure out another means for people to get in contact with me, even a burner phone for a week or two, just because I gotta say, me personally, I've been feeling a sensory overload, and I try to be very intentional, but life be lifing.
Yeah.
I know you don't like colloquialisms, but
no, I mean, if it works, it works. I used to hate it is what it is until I realized it is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is.
You say, that's right. But I guess to respond to that, I think that it's not that I hate colloquialisms or phrases and statements and all these type of things, these cliches rather. It's just that many times we stop there. It just sounds good, and many times we don't even go deeper to ask what is it saying, other than what's the depth of this? Is there any depth in it, and is it true? Because it's a cliche, because people say it don't mean it's true. I'm like that type of person. Okay, I mean I hear what you're saying, but it sounds good doesn't mean it's true. And then the other thing is it true in all situations? And so, I think we can become very literal in our reading, literal in our sayings, literal in our proverbs, very literal. I don't think nothing's written. I don't think there's a thing written that is comprehensive enough to fit all situations all the time. Maybe there's something, but not much, not many, not all. It's not a lot. So yeah, I think I saw Brother Lewis. Did you have something? I saw you trying to get the mic. So I want to do this. I want to talk about the comedic ethical requirements that we have, especially those of us who are going through the rite of passage. And I think it's befitting to what we've started this conversation off to be. So we've agreed to improve in the following areas. One being the control of thought. Control of thought. So many times when we are engaging with these different media platforms, they're trying to control our thoughts. Hence, also our emotions. Hence, we will be drained if we can't control our thoughts. A lot of the reasons why we're tired is not because we've done anything physical, it's because our thoughts are running wild. People think that because you work on a physical level, that tires you out more than one who works mentally or psychologically or intellectually, which is not true. Because you can come very drained, especially when your mind is all over the place. And when your mind is all over the place, many times we struggle with sleeping well. I suggest to people, if you're not sleeping, can't nobody help you. You have to go to bed. A brother asked me the other day, how do I care for myself? And I'm very careful in answering people's questions when they say, what do you do? Because sometimes it's somewhat of a way of trying to figure out you, trying to say, figure you out. You know what I mean? I get it, especially by brothers. It's like I pace myself. I do go to sleep. I make sure I get my sleep. Some of us work off of 4 hours of sleep, and we convinced ourselves that is enough. I promise if you get at least 6 to 8 hours, whichever works for you best, you'll feel a lot better. And then it has to be quality sleep. Some of us aren't sleeping well when we're sleeping. We're up. We're easily awakened from sounds. We're hyper vigilant even when we're sleeping. Our dreams are taking control of us. We forgot the dream. We wake up. We don't even know. Our mind is always working. It's okay, but there has to be some pacing in that mind. And these media images are trying to have you and us out of whack. It's interesting. We spoke about it already. They're fatiguing and they have us feeling doomed. So many people, not even just with what's happening with the gentleman, as brother, I think it was Carlos said, is no longer with us. Was I on another show? I forgot. I don't know where I was at. Listen, the guy who was no longer with us, I think that's how brother Carlos was responding to it last week. It's the wars that's going on that's not even ours. And everybody is trying to give us to be so much in fear. We have a fear-based society. And what fear does is put you in place. Fear keeps you in your place. Where you supposed to be at, black man and black woman. So again, control of action. The next one, steadfastness of purpose. Steadfastness of purpose. One thing I realize is that many of us want to be leaders. And we often critique leadership. But we struggle with being steadfast. We struggle to stay the path. We struggle in anything almost. And there's not just anything, but we make up good enough reasons to not continue. Because in our minds, we don't have to be accountable to one another. And to me, that's very disheartening. And it's disheartening because we are the people who talk the loudest about liberation, who talk the loudest about holding leadership accountable, who talk the loudest about we ain't doing enough, are the very people who will drop out of any damn thing. And won't work with others because we don't know how to depend on one another. We don't know how to ask for help. We make decisions all by ourselves. Even we won't even share with the closest person to us, like an intimate or romantic or whatever type of partner, our wives and husbands. We won't even depend on them. So then we won't depend on the community. And then you have a conversation all by yourself, as I often speak about, that you made all these decisions by yourself in your romantic quote unquote relationship and didn't even let your partner in. And then you do the same thing with the community. So what I'm saying is relationships are relationships are relationships. Go ahead, Brother Los.
Check.
You good?
And a lot of that also has to do with trust. Like we have been kind of taught to not trust each other. We've come up in a culture of not trusting each other, and also the competition of everything. So even to share with your brother and sister something that you may feel insufficient in, it's almost like you're afraid to do it because you don't want to feel the embarrassment of it. Like you don't want to feel like I should be in the know, I should know this and things like that. So we let a lot of stuff escape us, or we take on stuff that we believe that people are just smarter than us. So I'll just agree with it. And that's part of the process of like what you said in the prior point of controlling your thoughts and actions. It's like, if they must be smarter than me, so I gotta follow it. And you refuse to challenge it or have any kind of thought-provoking conversations with those people, which could help build the process even better. You know?
Yeah. And the reality is it's no competition. It doesn't have to be a competition. We all have strengths that differ from the other. We get locked into what we believe from our Eurocentric counterparts, what is more of value. Everybody don't have to have the same exact strength. And everybody doesn't have to get to the same place at the same time. Kind of like the rites of passage. I say, look, there should be no man or woman left behind. But we're so used to doing things ourselves. And the whole point is for us to learn how to depend on one another in very simple ways. And I argue that if you can't do it in the most simple way, I know it's showing up in real ways, in your real relationships, what's really going on. These are just tests to see how you will perform. And no, those who are self-righteous, those who are afraid to have people help them or can't listen to others, you won't make it. Because you're independent. And it's all about you. So steadfastness of purpose. And I go back to this idea of how can we be really serious about the things that we say if we don't think life will always give us excuses not to do the thing? Because I promise you, life won't stop lifing. And any reason and any excuse you give is an excuse. Because life will never stop giving you what you need called an excuse. And that's for real. Because often in our lives, we think that we're the only one going through the thing. But the reality is there's not a person that's not going through something or many things. And see what happened in our individualistic, egoistic ways, we begin to think that we are going through more than what others are going through. We start measuring. We have no idea. But steadfastness is one of the weaknesses in the movements that we talk about. I already know people get happy. I already can tell you people get happy, excited, and you just know they mean well, but they have no staying power. And how do you build a movement, rather anything that you want to call a revolutionary movement, and everybody gets the excuse? But in the other world, the world that you're trying to quote unquote dismantle to bring about something new and better, they're working all day. So we have to, if we really want to be serious about things, hold each other accountable.
Yeah.
And that is the most difficult thing because we have empathy. We do. But you pumping your fists. Are you really pumping your fists? And I know it's hard, it's heavy, because the society is taxing us so that we won't stay steadfast.
I saw a clip of this street photographer, videographer, based in Chicago. I mean, he goes around different places and takes pictures of people and does like video, little mini little. I would say they're like little docs or vlogs or whatever like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I found it interesting because he happened upon Chairman Fred Hampton's son.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a young black man, and he made a statement. He was talking fine, and they were just asking questions, and then he made a statement to Chairman Fred's son and said, "I wish the movement was like it was, as powerful and visual as it was in the '60s." And Fred Hampton Jr. became irate,
Mm-hmm.
and his point was, you saw it,
mm-hmm.
And his point, you saw what his point was, is like, it's not that it's not happening. You're not a part of it. You're not up on it. You know, you're not following that enough to know what the struggle continues. Like, there's people out here doing it. Like, he even told him, he's like, you weren't here last week when this place was packed with that stuff. So,
mm-hmm.
like you said, people tend to jump on board and jump off board, or their mind is quick to get absorbed with something else.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it could be something similar, but not that actual thing. And then you think to them it's being diluted when it's actually not being. You're the one doing the diluting because you're not steadfast in it. You're not steadfast in the participation or the
mm-hmm.
understanding of it. You're the diluter. You know
mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? It's not that the people who you think you're the one, because you're just
mm-hmm.
you're not actively engaged in it, whether it be physically, mentally, emotionally, or whatever.
Mm-hmm. And I think, go ahead, bring the mic closer to you, though.
I really appreciate that point. I thought it was a beautiful thing, even last week when the panel was here having a discussion, and you know, I thought it was interesting how so many people were saying in a variety of ways that we need to do more, we need to do more, we need to do more, right? And that's like, I think it's similar to what you said. And it's similar to what Brother Carlos just said, where if you're not a part of the work, you don't know what work is being done, right? And then also, creating a new organization or doing a new thing doesn't necessarily mean that more work is actually being done. It's just another thing to be convoluted in the mix of things. So, you know, I was really trying to be thoughtful, and I'm not even making it about me, but I'm just mentioning this point. I was trying to really be thoughtful and say, like, well, what is it that people need? What is it that you need, right? And you know, I thought it would be a good call to action to say, like, I need somebody to show up like this, do this specific thing, or I need a secretary, or I need you to come to this event. And I think a couple of the panel brothers said, you know, where some legislation is being passed, let's push forward there. Also, okay, go to this website, sign up for this. It's kind of like the green book, but it's on the website. You know, those are like very tangible things to do. And I think that so often people could get big speeches about what needs to happen, but don't give real tangible, I need you to do this thing, this one thing, and that's one step towards the right direction. That'll get the needle moving. And I just wanted to mention that because, like, even here, there's so much work being done and around the city, but if you aren't a part of the network or you don't show up, you wouldn't know. Or if you don't tune in, you wouldn't know. On the opposite end, you know, it's one thing to show up, but like, what does it look like to actually show up and actually be supportive? You know, actually do something to contribute, even if it's something small. And I think that, me personally, I can't solve the world. I don't think so, but I can raise my kids, and that's one thing. Or I can pick up a piece of trash, and if everybody was to pick up a piece of trash, this gets us a little further. You know what I mean? Just what is the tangible thing we could do? I digress. There's a couple things there, but
thank you.
I actually want to commend you for even doing that last at the round, you know, the round table on Wednesday, because one of my friends was tuned in Minnesota, and he said, "Man, I appreciate the brother." He said, "The brother with the hat, man, I appreciate him asking that." And I forgot to tell you that that's the same thing, brother Ferg. Like, you just said it again. Like, a lot of people, and I don't think they mean, well, I can't be in their head. So I was going to say, I don't know if they mean any harm or not, but a lot of people do love to hear themselves just talk. Like, they love to just say stuff and have people, you know, respond to it and throw their hands up in the air, and they can make a meme about it and things like that. But you ask them specifically, give me some things that we could do. Like, you're saying we're not doing this, we're not doing that. Well, give us some. I'm here. I'm asking you, what can I do? And I thought that was, first of all, I ain't gonna say, I think it was brave, because like in the midst of a situation where you got people of esteem talking, it's like sometimes it's hard to put yourself in the middle of that. But I appreciated you reaching out, because it actually challenged the people to not just talking and just regurgitate the things. You know, they got talking points, or they got things or bullet points that they've done that they can read away on paper. But is that actually getting people involved? And I'm not sitting here throwing stones at them or anything like that, but it happens a lot. It happens a lot. A lot of people believe they're being positive, and they are, but like it still ends up just being bullet points, you know?
You know what? This may be unpopular to say, and maybe it is throwing a stone, but I actually was a little frustrated at the brother who spoke after, because he almost cut off the panel to what the call to action could be, which could actually get the needle moving forward, to then ask the question the whole panel was based on for over an hour. And that was like a little frustrating to me, because, and I'm saying it in the sense of accountability. I don't know that brother, and I'm sure he was well intentioned, but that was the epitome of, I want to hear myself talk and get a soundbite and seem like I'm saying something and I'm so empowering. But in all honesty, if you showed up on time, you would have been there. You would have heard. You could just have listened to it, and then time was taken away from actual call to action to actually reiterate what he could have just listened to the panel discussion from the beginning and just figured it out on his own. And that is I think one of the most infuriating type of situations where it diverts from what could actually be useful.
I totally agree. I just think that I think we kind of were talking about that off camera, like casually, about that certain situation. And again, I think it's basically there's power. This is gonna sound crazy. I don't know. Maybe I should coin it, but like, it's actual power in power. So I think people understand that. So sometimes people talk because they feel other people have more power than them. So they have to present themselves in a powerful, or equal power or more powerful way. And I believe some people do that a lot without any real substance. And like I said, even in that situation, not to rag on anybody, but this person is not a stranger to anybody on the panel. So to come here and, kind of like grandstand for the camera stuff, those are things that you just can meet with these people and talk to them and just say, you know what I mean? So that sometimes that type of thing runs wrong. Like, and here we sit here and we talk about stuff, we challenge each other, and we don't wait to get in front of some other people. It's like, yeah, I told Brother Fur that, and he just didn't say it. We just talk to each other and we work out the things that we can work out and come up with some ideas. So I think even looking at that panel the other day and showing the power that's in it, just to have those people come together and share ideas, you don't want to leave with something that's basically false.
Yeah, I'm curious to which grandstander you're talking about, or if you're talking about the same one. I do think the final brother asked a question, although I think he asked the question. I think the rest of them was grandstanding, to be honest with you. Even when I'm saying grandstanding is when you saying what we ain't doing, you saying all this, and then at the end of it, you say, this is what I'm about to do. Now, yeah, I think so. My dear brother Tahaka is a little controversial. I'll say his name. But I think that he, in the end, did ask a question that honestly was a relevant question. It just was the end of the thing. And, because he asked the question, maybe he came in late, maybe he could look at it later. But what he said was, what are we going to do? What are we doing, or what can we do as far as this propaganda or this onslaught on Pan-Africanism? Now, he was one of the few that actually asked the question. We broke this down in the shop yesterday, so it was funny. And he literally did. I went to the barbershop. I don't normally go to the barbershop. Let Brother Jabari hit me up. My wife, what look all right? She don't like it. So he, see, she likes it. Okay. So she's neutral.
You mean Brother Jabari on Harford Rd?
No.
Where is it?
Near
25th Street.
Yeah.
Oh, I need to go over there.
Yeah. So yeah, he's giving a commercial. But Brother Jabari, the co-organizer of the event, and Chairman Jabari. So we had a conversation in the barbershop that kind of, they're funny, it's funny in the barbershop. And they said it was all, even some of the grandstanders before were okay until they kept going. 15 minutes later. And then I'm going, look, this is what I'm going to do. And people just miss the purpose of the event. I mean, it was a beautiful event. And I wrote a post recently said, if you don't ruffle some feathers, you ain't doing anything. So I appreciate all the chitter chatter and all that going on, But the reality is some people also were a little hurt because they misunderstood. This wasn't saying they were the Pan-Africans. It's saying we are the Pan-Africans, right? It doesn't mean we plan on doing these presentations like these type of town halls going forward when specific issues surface. So it's not like people, why wasn't I on there? Like everybody can't make it. But at the end of the day, you might be better fit for a certain type of discussion. So I get it. I'm not going to say I haven't asked some of those questions myself. But they're definitely grandstanding, and those type of things that is a part of the fatigue. But I think if we look at it and understand it, we have to ask the question: can we still coexist? Because the question I become frustrated with, and most people, and I know y'all think, I frustrate most people with this thing. Because someone said I have certitude.
What's that mean?
And that I'm certain about some things. And one of the things is I think that we have to really understand some things. And sometimes, as Dr. DeGroot said in one of the things, we're not all entering the conversation at the same level. And I'm going to argue that when I say that somebody's a fraud, I'm not saying 99% right. I mean, yeah, probably so. But no, I am saying I am looking at aspects that people can't even see. And that's what we plan to do is train even inside of Njia, write a passage, what personality is. That's why we're waiting on y'all to give those tests back. Because we have to really know that there's some things that are flaws and some things that are frauds. And some behavior is people aren't even thinking about changing. The very reason for being there is to take you off. And how do you tell someone sit down with someone like that? Because you have more hope and faith in them than they can even do.
Say it again.
You have more faith in them than Brother Los is saying than they have in themselves. I'm saying you have more faith in them than they can even accomplish. Everybody can't sit down because, and that's why you need to have people who study the mind and personality when you talk about these things. Just to get up and say, well, we all can't we all look? Okay, we know that nobody can sit down with Trump and change his mind. He's going to cause hell no matter who's around him. It might look okay for a little while, but you better believe that everybody's going to become an enemy with him at some point because it's all about him. This is a death gift to himself. This is a power ego. Like we have to, like in jail, we talk about studying history. You have to understand, you have to study historical dictators. He really does want to be like a dictator type person.
Yeah.
Now, this is testing the American a system. What do they call it? The
Constitution.
You got the House, you got the legislative branch, the governance. You say, yeah, the way that the whole system is set up, what they call a democracy.
Yeah, it
is testing this. The things that they said was impossible is happening right now before you. Right now, it's not to say it won't be a fight, but it has us confused. I have a friend. I mean, I don't know if he's a friend. He's a guy who watches. I would say a long time viewer of our broadcast, He wants to keep coming in my post saying things. I just, greet him nice. He wants to start off text like, dude, you voted for a third party. Don't forget. That's a vote for Trump. Dude, if you believed in this Constitution like you said you did, I can vote whoever I want to.
Yeah.
For whoever I want to. But dude, my vote, I already knew my vote wasn't I knew who was winning the state of Maryland. Dude, get a grip. Dude, at the same time, Kamala's coming out and saying what went wrong. Everybody's saying what went wrong. Everybody's telling the truth after the fact that she never had a shot. And then, but we are in this mix sitting around pointing fingers at each other. If the environment wasn't set for Trump to be in the White House, he wouldn't be in the White House. You can't blame individuals about something was set for him to be in. This country wanted him.
And that's why you can't let these people continue to say this is not America, because it is exactly America. That's the main thing. And even with what you just brought up a good point about the Kamala, and I think recently she said, why didn't she pick Pete Buttigieg? Which, he's intelligent, he's witty, and he's about his policies. And she made a statement that kind of got her in some hot water. But I will say this, is like sometimes you got to say stuff that's going to get you in hot water, but people aren't willing to accept this stuff. She said, you already have a black woman running for president, and then you want to be who's married to a Jewish guy, that's strike 2, and then strike 3, who is going to have a running mate that's in the LGBT community. Like, what do you expect? What do you expect the pushback to be when it's already a pushback just against the black female running against this climate that we're in today? They'll tell you Obama created it, but they'll tell you he created it from being divisive and things. And I'm not holding him as no angel, but he did create it because it opened up the floodgate of the way people really feel in America to actually expose themselves to who they are.
Yeah. And the reality is that she lies. They all lie. They were suckers. Let's keep people elected somebody they thought was strong. And they believed the crazy fool. But she was a liar too. Like, you're not gonna sit up here and play in my face. You like all of them are lying, and you were weak at it. And people are tired of people being weak and just dancing and bucking, dancing and acting like things ain't happening. It wasn't going to happen. You can't blame people for the way that the energy is flowing, dictating how people vote. There's something wrong with this system, but we'd rather point fingers at one another. I've never seen a person that has any level of Jamaican ancestry not be supported by Jamaican people. You know what I'm saying? Like, what? I've heard from so many. I ain't feeling her. Normally it's a pride thing. Fur over there, ready. Fur over there having a transforming over there. Hold it in, Fur. Come on, Fur. Bring it out, man. Yeah. Look.
And I don't think she represented that as well. She represented a lot of different things, but you're right. You bring up a good point. I don't know any Jamaican person that doesn't stand toes down for Jamaica, even in their wrongs. So
yes,
I don't think she represent, like, to me personally, as a black person, I think that a lot of times people of color black people, skate around their blackness until it's like a show. Like, so what I mean by that is not to just say I'm black, or I'm gonna give you an example how I'm black. I got a car I got a low rider with 24s on it. I'm just saying, like, your everyday actions, because your everyday actions could show us that you're not in that culture of that people will recognize as black, so they don't support us enough. They do think you just tap dancing around the issues, And I'm not just piling in on Kamala Harris. They felt the same about Barack Obama. They feel about Wes Moore. They feel about all of these people who, in all actuality, they're black, but their background and their lifestyle and their everyday living is it what black people feel like? And this dude is he understands what's going on with us, and I think that's where we get lost with that. With anybody that, people say Hakeem Jeffries. Hakeem Jeffries, no way, bro. No way. It's the same thing. So I think that's but that's a good point. I never thought about that. Yep, that is excellent about the Jamaican thing, because Jamaicans gonna stand 10 toes down, right or wrong, about Jamaicans. Believe
they smell phony. And and it's not about just this one individual. It's about the Democratic Party.
Yeah,
they showed up as suckers. They can't protect. I'm specifically speaking about at the federal level. I'm not saying state. I'm not saying local. They show up that way sometimes here, but you'll have a better chance with someone local. And some people keep saying politics is all local. I don't know why people keep lying. It's both and.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I hate excuse me, that's a cliche again. That's a cliche. Because somebody said it, is it true? All politics are not local. You still think that when this guy is coming into your city, putting troops in there and bullying people and doing all these things? Why do you keep? I get it, because we like sound bites. We like how things sound. And that's why it disgusts me when people just listen to people because they sound good. They like people to mesmerize them to sleep. Rockabye baby. Go ahead.
Can I jump in?
Go ahead.
So, I think it's Malcolm X who said you got to stand for something or fall for anything. And I really don't like having political conversations in public and on camera. But let me just mention that you hit it on the head. I think the Democratic Party is all over the place. There's like a catch-all for anybody who's not Republican. And what it does is it just makes it way too broad, and people have to be way too broad. And I would much rather somebody who's direct and specific and says, this is what I stand for, and just firm on it, than has a bunch of wishy-washy opinions about things, and then it just doesn't feel right. And I think that that's what the Republican Party felt from Donald Trump. He may be polarizing, but he stands on what he believes, and you may not like him for it, but his supporters don't feel a disconnect between that's how he actually feels. And I don't have that feeling of closeness or understanding from a lot of political figures. Now, I will say I like Wes Moore. I know you mentioned Wes Moore in the group. I wouldn't put Wes Moore in the group. I actually like Wes Moore. I actually like Brandon Scott also, just as a note. And I wouldn't say that they run from who they are, them specifically, but they can't do it by themselves either.
I want to challenge you on that just a bit.
I'm fine with that.
I'll come back to the Wes Moore and Brandon Scott thing, but what I'm saying is, even on the Trump, I understand what you're saying about the Trump thing, but he is one of the most wishy-washy people you're going to find. The issue with that party, which is not the Republican Party, it's the Trump Party now, is that you have people who just don't care what he said. Whatever he says, he can just change it the next day, and they say, okay, that's it. I think with the Democrats, they're afraid of being the bad guy. Sometimes you got to be the bad guy. You got to put your foot down and say, hey, this is what it is. But they want to be the angels. They want to be the good guys. And that's what I'll go back and say about our brother Wes and our brother Brandon. It's like, it sounds good to come out with the news camera, with the cameras on. And I'm not saying they're not doing good things. I'm saying in front of the camera, it sounds good to the people when you say certain things. But then when you put your money, when the money comes, when you look at the money trail of the stuff and what they're putting the resources to, then you get a different story. And that's all I'm saying. So you're still getting the story of these resources going out to certain demographics to hold the line, to say, okay, man, maybe he ain't just for the black people. Maybe he ain't for that. So that's the point I'm making. I'm not saying they're weak. I'm not saying they're bad, but I'm saying they play the game just like everybody else. And there's one more other thing, brother minister said about the all politics local thing. And I just like people to just love people online or us in here listening. Like, you got to think, what powerful local message has been the headlines of political season when it's not political season, like when specifically when it's political season, when it's election season, what powerful local message dominates the airways? And it's none. I'll give you the answer. It's none. They're gonna find that national thing that runs the political atmosphere. So that's why I agree with you. Like, I think it's important for local politics and state politics and things like that. But none of those issues dominate the media cycle or the election cycle. So,
well, I promise this is my last point on this. I promise. I don't want to go back and forth. But with Brandon Scott specifically, from the beginning of the time he was elected, he put impact metrics on what he wanted to do, and those impact metrics are still there. And it's a running ticker of what he said he was going to do versus what he wants to do. Also, I think it's important to note that although you may have the interests of a specific people, he is the mayor of an entire city. Same thing for Westmore. He's a governor, right? So you have to look out for your interest group as well as even people who you don't necessarily care for. So, and then, money is an interesting thing. If there's millions of dollars that's allocated for specific resources, for whatever it may be, right? And you just take a statistic and say, oh, well, $1 million went to this thing, right? Well, that may not have even been enough money to go and handle the budget for even that thing. So it's like, I think oftentimes we get statistical analysis of snapshots of where money is allocated and what things are being done. But we really don't have full context of what's even needed for that thing to survive. Also, we are in a democracy where on many times when we are voting policies and money to be allocated, we are the ones who vote for those things to be put forward. So I think it's important to just keep everything in real context, because, to expect any mayor, to expect any president, to expect any governor, to expect any senator to only have one group as a part of their interest group, it's very,
Can I jump in there?
Yeah. Okay.
I think that's where you will get pushback.
Okay.
And that's why you call them Democrats suckers. I get why they have to finagle and lie.
Finagle.
Yeah, they lie. Like it's a whole charade. I'm saying, like, okay, we have to look at this on various levels. Like, one level, we talking about in the system, and we talk, maintain the system, and then we talking about, this is a new system. So when anybody who's a representative of the system as it stands, they can only do but so much, and that's really maintain the system and make it easy for you as possible in the meantime. But then when we talk about, Trump had one interest group, and it was called MAGA. And that is the group that he stood up for. Trump never He doesn't. I mean, he may be sometimes, but we know who his interest is, and it's not even really MAGA. It's millionaires, billionaires, and then they try to switch it up and say, they forgot millionaire. They're just saying billionaires. It's the people up there, and that's why people struggle with the Democratic Party up, especially at the federal level, because they are class traders. They are people who look. I'm saying, how can you expect really Kamala and Obama and whoever else to really have your back when they all protected by the same agency? What I'm saying is, like, if we're talking a real talk, put it in real context, all that's BS. Now, we have to play games to survive in the system that some people, I heard somebody say it the best way the other day. It says that we need to break. So not the debate of whether it's broken or not, but a system that needs to be broken. So then so when we talk about Trump, I understand what Brother Fur is saying here, because Trump was clear. He's clearly a liar. So that's what that's what he was doing. He wasn't acting like he wasn't lying. He knew he will lie to you and lie to you again. He knows that you expect that he's a liar. He's not faking. Where Democrats want to act like they're not lying. Trump just say what he say. He gonna say what he gotta say, and he don't care. He's practicing warfare. He know you'll forget. His people know he lying, but they feel like he will lie for them. They feel like he will lie for them. They look at this as warfare. Whereas Democrats or liberals, for the most part, let everything go. Everything is real. Everything's a social construct. There's nothing in you. You're teethless. And then you want to blame people who we can't, but like people are tired of the charades. Like the in your face stuff. Like, why are we all up in here with the politics? Is what I'm saying is, if we really think you can try your best in this system, and that at best would just be life support. But when we really think that a mayor and or a governor, and there's plenty of things we really look at these things that you can critique them on, but the reality is, I mean, I'm certain there's things that a person didn't do. You know what I mean? That's all politicians, right? That's not really the thing is, what is he saying or what are they saying that is going to disrupt the system? That is what that's the argument that some of us are having. And that's why I like to differentiate and segment these conversations. Because you can do whatever you want to do to maintain the poverty in Baltimore. You can do whatever you want to do. Like, there's no reason why Baltimore should look the way it looks. That the people should be eating how they're eating. There's no way. But when you gotta play the game, you become a chump to those who have the power.
One quick example, and I know we'll stay on the pod, but this is one of the points I'm making, and it's not even about all the crime and this, all of that. Just an example like this, and no disrespect to any community or anything like that, but the communities that majority Black people live in are inundated with people who welch off of the Black community. It's inundated with stores owned by Asian Americans, or Indian Americans, or let's be honest, people from Africa, whatever, like that. It's inundated with that, and it's like, these people have skills or can do these things. Okay, we're looking at TNAT right now. We know somebody who can run a restaurant that's from our community or whatever like that, right? But our community is just filled with people who just welch off our community and then they out of the community. And the thing is, they just can't set that up. They just can't come in the community and say, hey, this is what it is. They got to have licenses and stuff to put all these liquor stores and stuff like that in here. And that's governance. That's the government. That's not just people say, oh, here goes a spot. Let me make it a liquor store. Or here's a spot. Let me just open this up. No, So they actually can control it. Listen, the city of Baltimore can control how many Asian stores are here, how many Asian business people are in the community. Because guess where they control it at? In the white community. You don't see all them Asian places in the white community. So they can actually do it. So I mean, that's all part of governance to me.
You can play the game, and we know they got to play the game. So there's a certain level of belief you can have in a person of bringing about certain change. I get it. I like Brandon Scott just from acting like he's from Baltimore. You know, that feels good to me. Now, now, is that going to bring about the change that I'm talking about? No. But do I like some of the things he's doing? Yeah. Is some of it necessary? Yes. So I think we just have to be clear in the conversation we have. Now, some people can critique him much better than I can. I'm certain there's plenty of critique that can happen. That's not my area. I'm certain there's things that you can critique. He does come across as boldly black. Do I like that? Yes. You know, I like Umar. That Umar comes across as boldly black. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. But, you know, is there some other things that can be looked at? Yeah. I mean, there's things I like about it. You know, I can't lie about that. But I will tell you on the federal level, they have been entertaining. The Democratic Party has been entertaining wealthy black people, those that with high levels of education, those who do all these type of things, like even my colleagues. Like it's not for the people. They didn't talk strong, and they didn't talk strong about the people. They didn't talk strong about the people. So again, I'm arguing that this war, I mean, I get it. They would have made it easier. But even those who call out people dumb who voted for a third party are now saying that this type of level of environment that Trump is making is necessary for change. Some of us are like, don't let the media get into your heads more than what's really happening right now. Because some of us think because he created this big, beautiful bill that the SHIT is already in effect. Oh, I'm losing this. It didn't even go into effect yet. So this is the type of mind games that we have going on. I lost this. What? It didn't even go into effect yet. This is the type, like, we have to be able to distinguish what is being played on us. People play on our minds and hearts every day. I am not saying it's not a fight, but we have to be able to distinguish between what is real and what is unreal. And social media reels are playing on us for real.
And just stand on it. Like, it's nothing wrong with just standing on that. Like, I think a lot of times we fall back to the back with the idea that somebody's going to think indifferent of us. But you have the right to your opinion, and you have the right to common sense and common sense responses, just like they have the right to these crazy responses they give you. Like, you actually have the right to that. So I'm one of those people, like, a lot of times, you know, we joke or whatever like that, but like, I'm going to challenge something that I don't understand it to be truthful or helpful or anything like that, and I may be wrong, but I'm up for the challenge for the understand. You gotta make me understand it. So I've always been that type of person. I've challenged professors in undergrad and grad school. I mean, not trying to be a bad guy or anything, but it's the same way I feel about our leaders, and whether it be our political leaders, our social leaders, our leaders in our black liberation movement. It's you got to challenge. You just can't fall into place, because people prey on that stuff. People can sense somebody who will just fall in place. Hence the MAGA party. I mean, it is what it is. Hence what we talk about on Wednesday. People who live and die for Dr. Umar. You know, it's like people sense those people. They know they can feed you this stuff, and they know they can get people behind them. So, like I said, even taking it back to our Black leadership and our Black liberation movement, it's like, people can be challenged. If you got an idea and you don't understand the idea, make people explain it to you. Make them explain it. Don't let them off the hook by just saying something and getting some applause. Challenge it.
And committing to something is important. And knowing that just doing what you do for yourself is not enough. I want to kind of argue against that. Because many of us, we say things like, I can just do my part. I'll cut my grass. That ain't changing shit. It ain't doing nothing. I mean, it might make your yard look good, but it ain't changing the condition of our community or our people in a real sense. That is what they want you to say. Let me just go ahead and not worry about this major great thing that I have no power and control over, because it's bigger than me. It's these super white humans or these super black humans. That's what they do. I don't have the power. Yes, we do. If we actually bring ourselves together, if we actually do things, we have to study. We have to understand what's going on. We have to consult with those who know. We have to align ourselves with community. We have to align ourselves with people who study this politically. It's easier to just go and, let me just do my part by feeding the neighbor. That is essential, but it is not enough. That is what I keep telling you. Again, I love the analogy of the Panthers that we have, again, what do they call it again? We have what you call survival programs, but we confuse survival programs as a form of liberation. Food stamps ain't going to liberate you. I'm not saying people don't need food stamps. It shouldn't even be a reason for food stamps. The problem is the programs aren't going to do anything for a big picture thing. It's not going to change the conditions. They maintain the conditions. And that's why some of our brothers and sisters are looking at these liberal white people and they're attracted to it, because they understand that these programs are in part to keep you where you are. But in part, they are also necessary where we are. So this is why we get played. Because if we think that is liberation, that is the fight, that's where we stop. If we think that the non-for-profit is liberation, that is where we stop. They say, look, what makes poor people poor? And people start to say things like their education level, so they create education programs. They say that they don't have because they're just go with education. So you create education programs. They say things, poor people are poor because they don't have houses and they don't have families. So we create these programs. These projects, you say? So just look, somebody told me they even have showers that they bring out to the community. And that is what we call liberation. Because what that does is maintain the condition, not change it. It's not saying it's not needed, because people need to take a shower. But that's only showering to maintain the condition, not change the condition. We should look at, why do we need this shower in the first place? Why are there people with so much extra, and then there's people without nothing? And then those who have very little, the us's of the world, are donating to all these philanthropic causes, many times to millionaire philanthropic causes, taking money from us to support people that we ain't too far from being, while they still live on their estates.
And get the credit for it.
And get the credit for it. So it's a mind FUCK. It has us thinking that we're doing a thing, and you about to, and you're worried about losing your job. These politicians don't work for us; we work for them. We are afraid to even speak and say things because we like, look, I might be able to get a grant from them. They might come in my restaurant and say, look, come on over there. So what I'm saying is, whoever had their hand in your pocket, who putting that dough in your pocket, many times they control you.
Perfect example. I mean, I don't even know if it is the perfect example. It isn't. I remember when the whole Freddie Gray thing went on, and a friend of mine had a barbershop down off of Lombard Street in that little area where Lafayette Projects used to be. And that's when they put the curfew in effect, and they was trying to put people in this curfew situation and things like that. And I'll never forget, I went to my buddy and I was like, man, a lot of these people don't even come to you get their hair cut because you're too expensive for them. I'll be honest with you. Like, you got Ravens as clients and things like that, and they come to that community. But I said, why don't you let's do something for the kids in the community, at least the kids, So we just, did something simple. We got the grill out, we got food, and we just fed kids because everybody was in this down situation. And I don't know if the word got out or just so happenstance. That's when Hogan was the governor. And all of a sudden, Hogan and his people came to the barbershop. We were in there giving out hot dogs, and he was, whatever. And then they came in there and they was like, oh, this is a great thing, and they got on camera. Oh, these guys are doing this and they're doing that. And then when the cameras cut, it was like, man, can you tell these guys to go and make sure they adhere to the curfew. When you're giving out this food, just tell them, be good people. Don't go to. And I'm like, that's not my job, bro. We did what we thought was help. We fed the community. We did something that brightened people's, in the midst of what was going on. You came there to say, make sure you keep these guys in line. To the dudes at the barbershop. That became our job from a politician. So it's like they already came and they had to see what was going on, and they used that as an opportunity to maintain whatever the idea stuff that they have. I actually, it pissed me off so bad that day. You know what I mean? I think I did say something to them. I can't remember. But those are the things I'm talking about. Like like I said before, people prey on, they look for things to prey on. That's the way they operate. That's the way, it's the path of least resistance. And like you said, you gotta be resistant. Like I said, you don't have to be right. You don't have to have all your marbles in place, but you gotta have some kind of pushback to something that you actually know is not right. You just can't say, hey, well, it ain't, I can't do nothing about it. It's little old me. You gotta be willing to push back against what you feel is not right.
Shane, we have to prepare ourselves, and we have to do it together. And that goes back to the fatigue. We have to learn to work together. In a lesson we did some weeks ago, we talked about first order change. And so always you kind of looking at the difference between first order change and second order change. So I have my notes from a few weeks ago. It says first order change that occurs within a system, but leaves the system structure intact. It is behavior focused, often superficial, and maintain the status quo or the current mindset or conditions. See, we always get confused with that because we think that somehow we can really do this thing within this system. We're not convinced that this system is psychopathic. We are not. Psychopaths don't change. I'm saying the system itself is psychopathic. The system has psychopathy. That's why when we talk about Dr. Bobby Wright, And he talks about this system having psychopathological personality disorder, something like that, racial personality disorder. You got something, Brother Parrish? I see you had the mic up for a little while.
Yeah, I was gonna let you finish.
Second order change. And second order change, transformation that changes the system itself. Its beliefs, roles, rules. It requires disruption and often discomfort. And this is what I'm saying. We are in a place of discomfort right now. But the system wants you to go back to being comfortable. That is what we want to do. All we want to do is get another Democrat back in the White House. And in fact, we're hurting before the hurt even starting right now. I mean, for some of us, yes, many people have lost their jobs. But for many of us who we're still working and moving the same way. This system, the inflation's been inflating since I was a child. People still talking about $50,000 a year, but everything else then went up. So $50,000 a year is supposed to still be good money when food is probably 10 times higher. $60,000 a year. And then everybody's supposed to be a six-figure dude. But most people ain't making six figures. We believe in something that is not meant for us to live in a humane way. We believe in the system. There's no way around it. You can help yourself feel more comfortable in it what is necessary, but never feel so comfortable that you think that you can fix this system. It is psychopathic. It won't change. Just like some of these leaders we talked about. We like to think some of these charlatans will change, but they won't. They sound good. Trump sounds good, believe it or not, even to some black people. They feel like he's their savior because we're in a society where people become celebrities, celebrated. They're more essential and important than you because someone or somehow they are in a place that makes them superhuman. And they're undefeatable in many of our minds. No, there's no way out. The discomfort is necessary and steadfastness is necessary. Steadfastness is necessary. And you might not see everything in your lifetime, but if nobody continues to fight, when will it stop? Or when will it get to where it's balanced, more balanced? As Dr. Tyreen Wright was saying the other day, we have to claim that we've already won. And I think that's essential. When she said we have to claim we already won, she's not saying something just to make you feel good. She's saying we have won the rights to our body. Now we have to claim the rights to our minds. A different war. But again, I argue that if they control your minds, they also control your behinds. If they took the shackles off, don't mean that you're not still operating in your place. You feel like you got freedom, but it was nothing more than interest convergence. But you did fight for this level of interest convergence. But the liberation we have not seen completely. And I also argue that the fight will always be an ongoing battle. We're talking about we're fatigued, but there's always been a fight since the beginning of time. We have to choose what side we're on. What side we're on. The side that is inhumane, and battling against people. But it's confusing because they give us trinkets and we believe there's liberation. So again, second order change, transformation that changes the system itself. Its beliefs, roles, and rules. It requires disruption and often discomfort. I have a trickle, pardon. Discomfort And that is where we are. We want to get back to what Brother Lowe said earlier, is back to the path of least resistance. But the path of least resistance is not the path to victory. So again, it requires disruption and often discomfort, but leads to true reconfiguration. You're not going to get things even within the system if you're just seeking comfort. You're not going to create a business that you want to create if you're seeking comfort. You're not going to create an institution if you're seeking comfort and pleasure and being pleased all the time and allowing everything to play on our senses. Because when people feel oppressed, when people feel bombarded, it has us looking for release. It takes us off the course. No longer are we steadfast because we didn't begin to give each other excuses for not staying the course. Steadfastness with purpose. Especially for us, those initiates. So again, steadfastness of purpose, the Njia interpretation, commitment to the path despite resistance or delay. You will never get anything, or we will never accomplish anything meaningful if we allow any obstacle to get in our way. And I've talked to people over the last few weeks. I'm saying the ultimate could have happened, and you still ought to stay the course. And what do I mean by the ultimate? You didn't hear that white woman, Erica, whatever her name is, Kirk, say that because her husband was dead, that she was going to stop. She said she's going to be stronger to carry out his mission. And I believe that she's being honest about that. Because she doesn't want his life to, in her own wicked, twisted way, to be in vain. And that fight is for the fight for white supremacy. No matter how they twist it, no matter how they gaslight you, we think that we can sit here and act like things aren't happening. We can close our eyes, put our heads in the sand, and things will just be all right. That's a good dream. But we have to find evidence of a life mission, which is the other principle that we agreed to. We have to find evidence in a life's mission. We taught Dr. King, who I heard yesterday on a clip, say he is not a consensus leader. And many people couldn't stand him who said they walked with him today. Because that man put his life on the line, knowing that it was going to be on the line. It wasn't easy. He was steadfast. No matter what you say is a flaw, and I don't even like the word flaw, but I use it because people use what is human as being flawed, but it's definitely different than being a fraud. So I go with the word flaw, but I still think it's misunderstood. But for the sake of conversation, I use flaw. Understand the difference between a flaw, maybe a flaw you saw in Dr. King, what you might call a flaw, under the pressure, being away from his home, being in different towns, being frustrated, scared, thinking about his life being on the line, looking maybe for some intimacy. I don't think you need to hide those things. This is a very human. You may call it a flaw, but he damn sure wasn't a fraud. And I argue that we need to see the difference. You don't have to agree with a person, but what is in their heart? As the Kemetic proverb says that I probably restructured in my own way, please try to understand the heart, because words are confusion. So again, the next principle, evidence of a life mission. Brother Parrish. Evidence of a life mission. Now you can talk about whatever you had, but I just tied it back to that.
Are you asking or?
No, you look like you had something. If you didn't have anything, that's fine. You didn't have anything? So with that, and I'll keep going to these principles. So evidence of a spiritual calling. These are what we agreed to. So again, going back to control of thought, we agreed to that. Control of action, that we would improve in these areas. Steadfastness of purpose. Commitment to the path despite resistance or delay. Njia. The rite of passage reflection. Do I live what I claim to believe? So again, I'm recursive in this because we don't just skip over a thing and go to the next. You have to tie it in together. We agreed to these things. Evidence of, going back, evidence of a life mission. Evidence of a spiritual calling. I have the Njia interpretation of evidence of a spiritual calling as sacred work cannot be self-appointed. It must emerge from inner summons and community approval. A rite of passage reflection is, am I seeking to serve or to be seen? The next one, freedom from resentment under persecution. Emotional maturity rooted in self-regulation and spiritual depth. That's the Njia interpretation. The rite of passage reflection is, how do I respond when I am tested or misunderstood? See, because we have to make this real. Because other than that, we are the ones talking, as Brother Los was articulated. And I'm not, look, to me, those panelists weren't a bunch of talkers. They have works that they can show.
Yes.
Because we specifically chose people. And because you ain't gonna have, look, they have to have some works, have more than lip service. I'm not saying you agree with them and with everything they do. But what I realize is, even in disagreement, some personality flaws, I'll just be honest with some of us, and admittedly so, but they still come back to reconcile. They still are on task. They still are staying steadfast. Because it's bigger than being seen. Because when it's all about being seen, it's easy to run. It's easy to point the fingers at other folk. The next one, confidence in the master to teach truth, trusting sacred teachers without idolizing them. And now when I read that, we don't really idolize master teachers. We idolize those frauds. I think you'll be a little bit safer idolizing those who are trustworthy. And the problem is, we begin to think that, oh, see, this is the thing that we say to ourselves. Oh, they just became that way. I hear people say it all the time. No, people just don't become that way. You already know what you have inside of you. You don't think they knew what they had inside of them? You already know what you will not compromise for. At least I know. The question is, do you know? I already know if somebody came in back around here with a bag of money and they said, compromise this for this. It's an impossibility. I couldn't even live with myself. It's an impossibility. People don't change like that. Your media attention don't go to your head. What we don't realize and what we don't really realize is that frauds and people with those level of personality disorders, they study people. I'm screaming so Mama Faluke can stay awake. They study people. I turned the heat off to AC off to Mama. So they study people and they study language. You think that they all of that. What do they do with themselves? They stay around, they sit around and read and make up phrases. Call them poets. And some of them don't even make up their own phrases. They have writing teams. People really think that preachers be saying something they made up a lot of the time. You don't know the preacher have a writing team? Then you go and look at the one that's a little less polished and think that he's less this. When this person got a writing team, he doesn't. When you judging the preacher that has to go to work through the week versus the preacher who getting paid for just serenading you. Let's think about it. They're artists. They are artists. Nothing's wrong with artists, but don't confuse them with people who are going to liberate you. Don't confuse them with being honest folk. I'll make a joke. I have a lot of artists as clients, and their wives come in and say, you know about artists, right? I don't care what size. they have what they call them. What they call the men. They could be just playing at the local juke joint. They have fans. They have fans. But you have some serious artists too. Like Lauryn Hill. Whether you think she's out of her mind or whether you think you can tell she's real. She says, yeah, that's right.
Part of being creative is being out of your mind.
It's a little bit of that, right? A little. It's about being able to go into other dimensions. No matter, depending on what dimension you go in, determines how you approach people. But Lauryn Hill, like, I cannot sell my soul for this. Now, that doesn't mean that that she's all the way healthy, but you can tell she's real. Nina Simone was real. What I was getting to, Lauryn Hill said, hold up, I'm coming out, I'm singing with my voice. I'm not even going to, look, my voice is human. I'm a human, so I might be off today, which is a quote unquote, that is a somewhat of a revolutionary stance as an artist.
It's also liberating because
yes,
I think a person is liberated artistically, mentally when they realize, like you just made a good point, like, people don't think anything is wrong. Everybody has something wrong with them. Everybody is a little challenged in different ways of life, mentally or whatever like that. And when you realize it, at least realize it, it helps you along the way. Like, you don't have to overcome it this day or whatever. Sometimes it's helpful, but I think a lot of people get caught in the thing of judging other people, and they hurt themselves by constricting their own self, their own thoughts. You understand what I'm saying? Their own feelings, because they want to pit it on someone else. So Lauryn Hill's a great example of that. Like, she's not letting people pit certain things on. Oh, she comes late all the time. Hey, that's it. Hey, man, and she gonna give a banging show when she comes in. You know what I mean? So it is what it is.
It is. It is what it is, and she might come late, but might not show up. But
Next time you're gonna be there.
But next time you're gonna be there. And
The dead is coming to life. I think the artist piece is a good analogy of what the masses as a whole do not do. The role of an artist is first self-confrontation.
mm-hmm.
And in self-confrontation, you're able to get free to express the good, the bad, the indifferent about your own self.
Mm-hmm.
And I think about Mary Makeba sometimes.
Mm.
Mary Makeba didn't make a decision to speak for South Africa. She was kind of thrusted into it
Mm-hmm.
because she started opening up about her personal life,
Mm-hmm.
her relationships, right?
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't even about apartheid at that time.
Mm-hmm.
But because she was transparent with her personal life, she was thrust into a bigger arena, which was the politics. Unlike the masses,
Mm-hmm.
we can hide under different things.
Mm-hmm.
And we can know and hear
Mm-hmm.
injustices that are going on and still not talk about it until cosmically something happens and it implodes. Because if you look at most civilizations and most countries that have fallen, there was a lot of time for people to confront, the masses to confront those that, and there always been people that will confront. I'm thinking about South Africa in particular.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the demonstrations, the guerrilla warfare, really. But it doesn't really shift until people are either willing to be transparent about things and talk about their strengths and weaknesses, what they want their government to do. I'm going back to that. Or it just implodes. Because we always, as humanity, have a certain level of time to change things. And when that doesn't happen, it implodes.
I see.
And you start from the beginning again.
I see. And thank you, Mama Fluke. As one of my mentors often say, this system is on its way out. Are you preparing yourself for that? In essence, the preparation that when you hear people say that, this is collective preparation. And I would say there's plenty of things, going back to what Brother First said earlier, there's plenty of things to do just around here. If nobody gives you a thing, there's plenty of things to do around here. If you get something from here, there's plenty of things to do. I'm not even saying, I'm talking about on all levels. Everything from, it takes a lot to even just, like today, Sister Queen hit me up. I think Sister Queen online, peace, Sister Queen. It's like, do you have a flyer out? I said, this has been an interesting week. So I said, I'm running behind. It's been a long week, but I did get up and I put it together today. But there's so many things to do. I think that what I would ask us to do here is to walk in solidarity. This upcoming Saturday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That Friday here, there's going to be a the Race First rally is having the first night. The what is it called? The gathering, like what do they call it? The first night they always have these. The Race First rally, they're having their what is the actual term? They call it like meetup type of thing. Like it's going to be like a chit chat, like meet and greet. Thank you. Like a meet and greet here on Friday. I think it's like, I'm thinking it's probably like 5 or 6 o'clock. I'll give, my phone is dead. And then Saturday, I think it's an event earlier to like in the evening. And can somebody look on my on TNAT's Instagram real quick for an event that's going to be going on Saturday night? from a sister who's a Panther and who was a Panther, and she's coming from Africa, and she's going to be doing like a talk, storytelling, healing rituals. I think Mama Rashida is going to be leading that as well. I mean, she's going to be like the MC of that. No, this is open. Like this, the restaurant still. It was just like an open event. Yeah. So during that day though, I'll tell you what I would like for us to have at least one initiate. Huh?
You said Friday?
Yeah, Friday. Well, that is Saturday, that event. So I would like to have one initiate at least to I want to say escort me or roll with me to this race first rally at least each day. I think we should also be really thoughtful on how we move.
Is it the healing your mind, body, and space?
Yeah, read that off for me.
Okay. My glasses on.
So yes, at least one person or several to roll together to the race first. I think I will be one of the facilitators of one of the resolutions that Bob Imhotep and the collective will be putting together. I think mine's is social change or something like that. So there's different resolutions that they plan to have come out of this race first convention. And then on Sunday, I've already sent out I sent out something to us months ago, maybe, and said that maybe we can perhaps go there. But they also sent out a registration link as well. You have to register. Okay. So again, what I'm gonna do is ask you to I'm gonna finish this and you can go into that.
Okay.
Okay. So again, confidence in the master to teach the truth. And I think I spoke about what Mama Fluke said something around the idea of artists and the process and those things. But again, what I was pointing out is that many times charlatans, frauds, and pimps and and all those type of folks, they sit around and they practice, they research you. They put words together. They like, just think about them as artists, con artists. To be an artist, you have to practice your craft. It's not like people don't practice stringing along words together that they know that will excite you and take you out of your ability to control your thoughts. They literally know that they're going to hit you so hard in your heart that ain't no thoughts. And you be like, how did I show up there? How did I end up here? Some people say, how did I end up married for 20 years and didn't know who I was sleeping with? The same thing happens in these social relationships with people we call leaders. I'm thinking about Nas and Damian Marley's song. How does it go? Leaders. I can't think of the words before. Stand up or something like that. But then we also have the final two: confidence in one's own capacity to learn. The Njia interpretation is sacred humility and readiness to grow. We don't have to be there, but we can learn to get there. If you enter a space and it's challenging you, that means you're in a space that you need to be. If you want to grow. The rites of passage reflection is, am I teachable even when challenged? So the final one here is readiness for initiation. Embodied maturity across thought, action, spirit, and service. Do I carry the weight of what I ask to be entrusted with? So my point is, many of us want change. We want to see organization built. But I would argue that it requires these principles. And we complain about not coming together, but not realizing we're the very ones we're complaining about. It's so easy to walk. It's so easy to run. It's so easy to give an excuse of why I can't do. It's so easy to get excited when things first start. Some of us are great starters. But the middle area, that ain't for me. And some of us don't know how to close the thing out either. But we're going to close this one on out. And I'm going to say to the listening audience, go to Instagram and follow us at TNAT Holistic Wellness Center. And there'll be an event coming up this Saturday. Also, make sure you register for the Race First rally. This is going to be a powerful event, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Also, stop talking about what we're not doing. I want to challenge that. Every time people talk about what's not been done, I challenge us here to speak about what is going on. Mm-hmm. I suggest you walk with your chest high. You don't have to know everything because nobody knows everything. But speak about the good work that's going on here. 6 months from now, we look to have another line going through, another line started. Tell people, get them ready to go through that line, and you'll be ushering them through their first part. Does that make sense?
Yes. So
let's build. You can't be all over the place. And I know some of y'all think when I'm talking about specific people. No, I'm not. No, we just can't be all over the place. Our minds are all over the place. That's why control of thought is essential. We can't do if we allow our mind to run wild and we behaviorally find it, we will never accomplish what we will. In fact, I understand how that feels because I counsel people in their 80s and they feel like they didn't finish a thing. And they're trying to live another 20 years to accomplish it. So the control of thought is essential because when you can control your thought, you can control your actions. You can do all those. You can control your actions. You can be steadfast. You can begin to identify with higher ideals. You can't identify with nothing if your thoughts are all over the place. You can have evidence of a spiritual calling. When you can control your thoughts, you can be free from resentment. When you control your thought, you can identify teachers that are real. When you can control your thoughts, you can have confidence in your capacity to learn. When you can control your thoughts, you are ready and you can be ready for the next level. Ashe. You want to go ahead and read to the audience about that event coming up? And just to the people here so we know what's going on Saturday here after the Race First rally. Perhaps, I don't know if your pad went dead or... So, family online, thanks for tuning in. Oh, it looked like somebody brought it up. All right, that's what's up. So you can go ahead and read it though, Brother Parrish. You ain't got to get infatuated by the
healing your mind, body, and spirit.
Bring it closer to your mouth, please.
healing your mind, body, and space. Join us for an event of dialogue, poetry, and reflection featuring Charlotte Mama C. O'Neill, veteran Black Panther. My tablet went out. It's dying. Having on power saver mode.
Hey, Brother Lewis, can you see it? Or somebody?
There we go.
You can get it first if you can see
Okay.
it.
Black Panther artist and activist alongside Bakor, am I saying this correct? Aye Mari, spiritual leader of Ile Imoli. Is that correct? It's a new word for
It's
that.
close enough. Don't worry about it. We'll get it.
Moderated by Mama Rashida Foreman Bay. Hear from Mama C on her Heal the Community tour as she brings stories, music, and poetry rooted in healing and resilience, continuing her lifelong work of uplifting communities and inspiring new generations. 5525 Harford Rd, Baltimore, Maryland. 21214.
No, don't you be looking at me getting fresh with my wife. No, I was just giving her a compliment, Parrish, on her dress. It looks pretty.
Oh.
Mhm. She said, "Thank you, y'all." All right. You didn't hear it, Brother Lewis? She said, she said, "Put me on blast." All right. The first Jamaican I heard, no, I ain't gonna put her on blast. Okay, since you said what, she wasn't that excited about Kamala, but and you know that's hard for a Jamaican to do, not to be excited about someone with an inch of their blood. Yeah. All right, Brother Los, brother. Oh, wait, hold on. How we going?
We're gonna close this out with 7 Harambe's. All right, if we all stand up. Hello. With those black fists in the air. All right, we're gonna bring it down and then finish off with the fist. Ready? Harambe, 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 Harambe.
Testing. Thanks for joining. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. They can't scan that thing on the screen because it has words over it. You have to take down the. Y'all want to support? Cash App TNAT-HWC with the Cash App sign in front of it, something like that.